No, it was saying here when we walked in.
And like me, I DVR.
Looks good in front of you. We'll pull Public Works into session. It's going to be a joint referral, which was number 22, I believe, on tonight's agenda. So everybody, note that everybody from Public Works is present. Alderman Vitale.
Administration and Finance, I believe all the committee members are here. Haas, Probst, May, Alderman Lajsic, we're all present. Let's move forward.
With that, I think I'll turn the meeting over to Mike Lewis, who probably will turn it over to...
You got it.
Delegation is extreme.
Joe, to Engineer Joe Birch. Joe, if you want to have a seat and make yourself comfortable and lay it on us.
Okay, well, last time this was brought up, you requested they send information out to everybody. We did that, copied in the water bills, so everybody got it. And we only had 46 responses out of, it was 15,700 residential properties. But overwhelmingly, it was for the program, 41-4-5 against. So that is the results of that. So now what I'd like to do is take it to public hearing for the next step.
So move.
Second. Well, question from Alderperson Probst.
Well, there's been a motion.
Yeah.
Well, we have a motion,
Motion.
we have a second, so then further discussion.
Further discussion, Probst?
You said that you had 45 responses, 41,
46 responses.
excuse me, that's what I meant. 46 responses, 41 of them positive. How many did you send out altogether? I'm looking at what percentage did we receive back?
I sent out about 20,000, but only 15,700 some are residential properties, and that's who's in the program. But I couldn't separate out the non-residential with the water bill, so
Okay.
everybody got it.
But so of the 22,000 that you sent out, it would have applied to roughly, let's say, 15,500.
Yeah.
And of those, we got 46 back. Okay.
Well, actually, we got 47, but one guy didn't want to commit either way. So.
Switzerland.
Any further question from Administration and Finance? Or
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Alderman Weigel?
when this is going to be a citywide program, that people are going to get a new fee on their quarterly utility bills forever.
Yes.
I don't think 47 is a very good response. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to guess most people treat their utility bill with even less respect than they treat their tax bill, and that they really just they open it up, they look for the number, and they write the check. You know, and I'm just wondering if there's some way we could make the citizens more, I think 47 may as well be 0 responses out of 15,000.
I think the only thing that came of the total responses is the percentage for and against.
Yeah.
I guess that would be
But
what
I don't
would-
think it's a statistically significant number.
No.
You'd have to rely on a numbers cruncher here, you know. Would we typically, now we're gonna have a public hearing on it. When we do public hearings for other things, we typically direct mail everybody affected. If it's a public hearing, say about a liquor license or a restaurant opening, we mail the neighbors within 200 feet or whatever, right? Okay, because they're affected when a restaurant opens in a neighborhood. Would it be completely crazy to send a separate, dedicated letter to every property owner?
It's
on
about
this?
$9,000.
$9,000. I understand that.
But other than that,
I wish I could say we could rely on the media to let people know what's going on, but I don't think I can say that today. You know?
well, over the last couple of years since we started bringing this up here with it got in the newspaper a few times, and I got calls on it then. I never ran into anyone against it until we sent the information out.
I'll also say that the email that you sent, at least the one I got, okay, the spreadsheet was upside down. I couldn't read it because it was so fine, and even when I printed it large, I couldn't read it. So if you could, because that was in there as a PDF, I think.
Yeah.
Could you send it to me in an Excel? Because I have not been able to read that data. So off that spreadsheet that you sent, so.
I had to print it out on 11 by 17 to read it.
I don't, yeah. You know, if you want people to read something, you gotta make it readable.
I forwarded that stuff to Becky and she sent it. I didn't even look at it.
I understand
so,
that, but that's how it came to me, and I assume everybody else got the same way too.
If you have Excel software, I can send you the spreadsheet.
I do have Excel software.
So it'd be much
So,
easier to
yeah.
read that way.
Send it to me as a spreadsheet.
Me personally, I think, yeah, I like the response that came back, but I still would feel a lot more comfortable with a referendum. And whether it's a non-binding referendum, which I think I'd be more in favor of than a binding referendum, I think that way we would get a real feel of exactly how everybody feels. That, to me, now they're forced to give an opinion either way. So that's my opinion. but-
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Alderman Lajsic?
I don't like referendums for one reason. You can't fully explain the
it's
issue
complicated.
in a concise enough way to make it understandable for anybody that's gonna make a decision on it that day. I do like the idea of sending out a mailing to every household in the city.
Property owners.
Every property owner, and let them know that this is, gonna be a public hearing on this, when it's going to be. And I only had 2 phone calls on this, both of them questioning and both of them positive after it was explained.
5-0. Alderman Chaplasky?
I kind of agree with Alderman Barczak just on the referendum, just simply because this is an issue. Once this starts, we're setting into something in the place that no other council can change. It's going to be there forever. Everybody knows whatever fee we start out with, that's the bottom. It's going up from there because the fee can be changed. And I think that this is a extremely important vote, and I think it should be done by the people of the city rather than just the 10 of us. I don't have a problem having the public hearing. You know, we got to have that, but I just think that we should really look into, having a referendum on this so the people can tell us. But I understand it's going to be hard to explain everything, but it just,
Well, I think if we have the public hearing and then make a decision on whether we need a referendum or not, because I think once you have the public hearing, you're gonna see what kind of interest there is. You may have 500 people show up, either for or against, or you may have nobody show up.
like usual.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Alderman Weigel?
Either one. If we did, so the public hearing, we're deciding whether or not to go forward with the public hearing. And I guess apparently whether we're gonna do a direct mail to everybody, not just the instant utility bills. If there were to be a referendum, what would the timing, that wouldn't be this November. No. It would be the April election.
April.
Yeah, April,
If that early.
yeah.
Joe, it was explained earlier, I believe we did discuss the questions. What would be for the cycle of the, for billing cycles, the additional cost? I believe we had already some figure layout, right?
$10 per quarter.
Per quarter, so we have about $40 a year. So what would be the beneficial at this point for many people? They don't have the say the sump pump or any problem that
Well-
would occur, with the issue of the inflow,
Currently, we have other funding for getting sump pumps installed. But the leaky laterals, it's a benefit for getting the flows down, but it's also a big benefit because the laterals are getting old. And people have to deal with them one time or another. And this is a way out, I guess, or just a buffer for that big bill that they're gonna get.
I think that's the
And,
biggest fear, is that the road.
Well, and I think what that could do, if we start seeing a lot of laterals failing, maybe we'll have a lot more inspections of laterals before mortgage companies will give a mortgage on a property. And then, all the old houses, they won't sell anymore. Right? Or you gotta fix them when you're trying to sell your house.
Yep.
They're doing that with basement walls now. They're getting more and more strict on that. So this would help keep the values up in the city. I personally, after talking to all these people, I think they look at, this is less than $1 a week, I don't care. That's the impression I got.
It's the same impression I got from the couple that I talked to. It's cheap insurance.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
And what I expected actually is that I would hear from most of the people that hated it, because you get your water bill, you see this, now they're gonna raise it again.
Exactly.
Yeah, Alderman
Do
Chablusky.
do you have, where in the city it came from, or is it pretty much even all over?
It's
How
pretty
is it?
much all over. I got a call from Carol Graham that's for it.
Mr. Chair,
Alderman,
I
almost said Alderman
didn't
Weigel.
receive one phone call. This is a very important decision for the council. And you've explained it very well. However, I suspect that there weren't too many people that read it out of the bills. But for the people that called you, or the people that said they didn't agree with this kind of operation, you might say, what were the negative comments that were made to you?
Well, I have, there were, I think, some of the people I was able to contact back. 'Cause what we did was we set up a special email and a special phone line so they could call and leave a voicemail. And then I called them back. So I contacted some of the people that said they didn't like it. Some of them thought it was $10 a month. And then when I told them it's $10 every quarter, they said, oh, I don't care. Some of them just didn't want a new tax, but then they kind of wanted to have that protection, so they changed their mind. So I think there's, some of the people read the information until they see what the fee is, and then they stop and they just don't want the fee. So when they get it explained, then I didn't have anyone, after I talked to them, I didn't have anyone that was still against it. So,
So you were able to talk everybody into it.
yeah, everyone that I was, I didn't talk them into it, I just explained
What it was, yeah.
And part of this is, we just got, at the last council meeting, had a communication that we were just informed that we got 3 more basins that are non-compliant. There's enforcement that comes with that we have to do something to lower those flows. To go out and fix that much of a leak in our system will take millions of dollars. It'll take thousands of dollars if we go after private, because it's just a lot more water coming in there. We had a good example of that I was going to use at the public hearing. We were televising on an area where we just relayed the sewers south of Lincoln Avenue. They went down 1 block the day before, and then we had a thunderstorm the next day, and they went down that block. Every lateral was pouring water in. So, I mean, it's a significant amount of water that gets in, so.
Alderman May. Yeah, I guess, and I understand we've got this compliance issue that we have to rectify with MMSD. What happened? I know we're supposed to be debating more whether to have the actual public hearing, but I'm just curious to know what happens if we don't become compliant. What happens?
The state could come in and tell us we have to do a certain thing by a certain time.
And if it doesn't happen?
I'm not sure.
I'd like to know the answer.
Mr. Chair, I could
We get fined.
I could
Alderman, we get
share
fined.
what the Parks Department and the county's been dealing with Esterbrook Dam.
Mhm.
They're years past what their orders were from the state. But as long as they're moving in the right direction, the state's giving them time. The state doesn't want to fine anybody because they know that it's all of us, you know? And this is the part that I'm not a fan of. We're the first people doing this, right? You know, no one else has been ordered to do any major repairs yet. No one else is. This may be a pioneering. This may be a great idea. You know, 10 years from now, every community may be doing this. It just frightens me that we'd be the first to do this.
If I may, you know, a lot of times people's basements get old and the walls crack too. We don't force them to have, you know, a city-funded thing to correct basements in order to keep home values up. And it sounds like this is being sold as something to keep home values up because, you know, you don't want your neighbor's lateral to collapse. They can't afford to fix it. They go into foreclosure. You know, it brings down the home value. And I'm just probing that. not even necessarily for it or against it, but to be honest with you, I've had an even number of fors and against. The people were absolutely against it. One guy was just, you could hear it in his voice, anger, and he's shaking at how he's going to have another thing he's going to have to pay. And then they've got the person, the people who called me are the ones who already had the breaks and think they're going to be able to get them fixed now or refunded by the city. Those are the ones I'm getting who are in favor of it. So, you know, it is hard. I do like the idea of having this public hearing, and I kind of think I agree with the idea of a referendum, at least to get a pulse. You know, if they say if you can't describe an issue in a small, concise way, we don't fully understand it ourselves. You know, we got to find a way to convey it concisely and perhaps go to a referendum on it. And people might be absolutely against it, and in the end we decide we have to do it, but at least we know.
I would say I didn't try to sell this based on increasing property value.
Right.
The fact is, either we spend an
Not
amount of
increasing
money.
value, but to keep it from falling.
Well, no, it's a double benefit, is what it is. We can lower our flows by spending less money on private property, and the property owner gets a little benefit out of it for improving the lateral. Or we spend a lot of money, which they're gonna pay more than $10 a quarter in the sewer bills, to fix a halfway decent system. So, cost-wise, I believe it's cheaper to have the private property thing. So, it is a new fund, but maybe it's going to make our sewer fee, our public sewer fee, stay lower.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you know, you look at, particularly on the east end of town, what the housing stock is worth. And, you know, you're looking at homes that sell for $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. If they have a lateral collapse, you're looking at $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 to get it repaired. Those people are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose their homes. And you've got it all over the east end of town. Those laterals are 100 years old. And, you know, you can say put it on a referendum, and maybe it, you know, that always sounds good, let the people decide. But how you word that referendum makes an exact difference of how the results are going to be. And you can word it to say, are you in favor of raising the water bill by $40 a year? No. To cover lateral costs? No. Are you in favor of insuring every household in the city for laterals and not mention a fee? Yes. So, you know, you can get whatever result you want by however you word the referendum.
However, we would have the final say on how that referendum would be worded. The 10 people at this.
And I'm going to guarantee you, you give it to 3 different people to read, and you're going to get 3 different interpretations of it.
Just whatever that's worth, we would have that control.
Yeah, well, I basically, I had the same thing, is that usually with the referendums, when they come out, somebody has a political
Yes.
view, and they try to
Yes.
turn it to where I'm not looking, you know, I'm not looking for
I understand
any
that.
political deal. It just,
It's
you
just
know,
very difficult to write one.
you know, and to tell me this is forever, this will never be stopped. Oh, it's-
Alderperson Probst?
I think that once the public hearing has been held, if we have that public hearing and we move towards that, once we've had that public hearing and we hear how the residents of West Dallas are voicing their opinions to us, and we are able to kind of, you know, put our finger on that pulse, it's going to be really important. I'm going to echo what Alderman Weigel said too about the water bills. I know as much as I am involved in paying attention to what's going on, when I'm ripping through my bills, the bills go on this, and that extra chaff that comes in goes over here, and it's like, oh, look at that, I got fireplace stuff. So I don't read those things, and that's where a lot of that information is coming from. So you've got a lot of residents out there that won't know what this is about. So it's, our rollout of information is going to be very crucial to this, and it has to be, you know, we've got a city website. It needs to be like front, center, headline, bolded, like a, you know, like the paper, you know, this is important, please read this. Jerry Musial has done those programs on our website called Did You Know? Sounds like a really perfect did you know moment. You know, did you know how much these cost when this happens, and this is what's happening when your lateral fails. I just think that if the minute you say a lateral fail to someone, there's a lot of people out there that won't know what you are even talking about.
Exactly right.
Lateral, I have a lateral? Where's my lateral? I didn't see my lateral.
It's not
I mean, they
football.
won't have any idea what they're talking about.
Good thing they can see you.
So I just think it's really, it's gonna be, if this is a program that we are gonna undertake, because again, as it's been voiced here, this is, once we go forward, there's no going back. This has to be done the right way. And so getting that information out there, I think is gonna be really important. More information maybe than less. Hit them over the heads with it kind of thing, as far as inundating them with the
Yeah,
message.
briefly, I like to explain some of the things that happens within the family. I agree with Joe, what he said early. My daughter, she purchased probably off Oklahoma on 35th. So before the bank will close the deal, I mean, the owner had to fix the ladder because water was coming in, the wall was shifting, you know. So it was an incurrence of cost over $15,000 for the owner to be able to sell the property. So I mean, one of those things, I mean, the guy was unhappy, but the bank would not close the deal because of the issue. So I mean, that is give and take. So the way I look at it, I mean, it's $40. I mean, I don't like to pay $40 more. But the question, Joe, it's going to be an additional I mean, in time, the cost could be more, right? I mean, we don't know that at this
It would
point.
be up to you if you wanted to increase the fee or
That's up to us.
increase
That's up to
the
us.
special
How many
assessment.
payouts they have.
So you could keep the fee at $10 forever and, you know, instead of having $1,500 and $3,000 for the special assessments, you'd increase those along the way.
From what I'm gathering is that I think everybody is in favor of going ahead with the public hearing. I'm seeing everybody nodding their head yes. The questions I think that still need to be answered is every resident going to be mailed a notice of the public hearing? I think the council
I think
is in
it's
favor.
important.
Is that gets mailed just like we would do to 200 feet or 300 feet of a special assessment or whatever. So number
Mike's
one.
thinking, where's the money coming from?
Number one, looks like we're going to be in favor. Number two, everybody is going to get a notice of that public hearing, and then we'll set up a date for that public hearing, which I would hope would be within the next probably couple council meetings, I'm assuming.
As soon as we can. I mean,
Right,
we want to
with
get this
your-
done, but I
your-
mean, you're.
Not the council
May
meeting
and
right
May
before
only,
Christmas.
Yeah, when is Christmas?
Or during
That's not quick
New
enough.
Year's
That's
Eve.
not quick enough. At that point, I would recommend that after that public hearing, we do not act on it that evening.
Right.
And that we hold another meeting and then determine from that point going forward whether we want to go referendum, whether we think this is enough, I think it's a great idea, but whether we think not to, make our decisions after that public hearing. Does that kind of sum up everybody's?
Yep.
Alderman Leiter?
I'd like to see that letter before it goes out. I think the letter should have a picture explaining what lateral is, so people know what it is. There should be some sort of graphic thing with it, so it's not just a single page of single space type, you know. It should be very clear. So, like, as Alderman Probst said, a lot of people don't know what a lateral is.
However, it's single page. It would be nice, so there's not volumes of stuff.
not
Everyone on a public hearing.
Maybe
Yeah.
one page of text and one page of picture.
I think Joe will do his best sales job
Yeah,
on
yeah.
whatever needs to be done. There's somebody from the audience, the mayor.
I think
Mayor Devine.
my question just got answered, but I was looking at the $9,000 figure and wondering if it would be possible to send a postcard, which would be cheaper, but that may, unless you put a website on there that has a lot more information, that may not be way too much information to fit on a postcard, but obviously those are cheaper to mail.
Yes,
I would also caution when those letters do go out, make sure that they don't sound like those letters that were going out from that private company that was leafleting the area. That just scared everybody. Those phone calls that I got were, do I need to do this? What, you know,
Well,
that
it's
was more
official
panic.
notice of a public hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
what this
just,
will be.
yeah, that they're not
just like
getting
any
stuck
other,
with something,
yeah,
that they're
public
here to
works.
listen and whatnot,
We're engineering.
and talk.
But again, we'll send it around to everybody and.
yeah.
Administration and Finance, I know, has a motion and a second. I don't know if you want to take the vote or want to discuss it
You want to
further?
discuss anymore?
One more question. Is that notice going to say an amount, a dollar amount?
Yes.
And you're confident in that $10?
For now.
There's no,
No.
don't, I mean, don't think that that's gonna be $10 forever, okay? I mean, it's simply
It's
not.
not
And
gonna be-
for us to sit there would be a complete lie. I mean, the laterals are deteriorating, the underground infrastructure is deteriorating. You can look, you can read any newspaper, any magazine that's out there that's related to that and find out what is going on out there, and it's not good. So
Well,
again,
well,
this is
here's-
going to continue to go up just because the needs are going to be greater and greater and greater.
I think, here's why I stayed. I think at the beginning, we're gonna have a huge pulse of people contacting us for this, you know. Person's gonna be selling their house, the bank's gonna go, hey, in West Dallas, they've got insurance against these things, let's inspect it, the tiniest little flaw, fix it. That person's gonna come to the city for a claim to fix something, you know, is every house being sold gonna result in a lateral repair now? You know, I think there's gonna be a huge, I think the $10 per quarter, I think is not gonna be enough from the start. I just don't.
I think you need a year or so to see how these things are gonna work out, but, I mean, what we would require as part of this, if somebody wants their lateral
proof.
rehabilitated, they gotta get it inspected, they gotta show us the video, and then we prioritize. If it doesn't look that bad, it might get fixed 3 years from now. So it's not an immediate thing, otherwise we
What
could
if he
have
wants to sell his
thousands.
house now, though?
Plus, there is an assessment, right?
There is an
Yeah, there's
assessment.
Which is what, 1,500? What was it?
Deductible.
A deductible.
1,500.
Non-emergency.
It's a special assessment, so that it could be put on a 10-year payment
Okay,
plan.
yep.
Now, if someone's selling their house, I mean, we'd have to look at that as a priority, because they gotta
I
do
want to
something
fix
right now.
so- Mr. Chair? And this is exactly what I'm saying. There's so many unknowns in this program. If Greendale or Wauwatosa or Fond du Lac had this thing up and running for 2 years, we could have a history to judge by. Do you know any other communities they're working in this direction? Yeah,
Nationwide.
How about just in
Nationwide,
Wisconsin?
There's some that
Yeah.
do this.
Has anybody had it up and running? Do you have like a
Um,
case study you can show us so we can see if what Alderman May is suspecting is going to happen? I guess regardless, we're going forward with the public hearing. I
I'm
get
saying, do we
that.
say $10,
Yeah.
and then we say
Yeah.
$10, and now we're,
Yeah.
What Racine does, they inspect the laterals, and then they rehab them, and it's $50 a year. But they only took a portion up to the property line, so they're paying for the portion that's in the street.
Oh, they're only
It
doing-
remains the owner's responsibility.
Who's this?
In Racine.
Racine.
They only do the part that
Right.
seems like should be our
Alderman
responsibility.
Chapleski.
Okay, Now, when this was all proposed, and we first talked about that, we talked about laterals that fail, meaning all of a sudden, Fletcher Toilet doesn't go down. Now we come into that someone scopes their lateral and says it's not in good shape. Now all of a sudden they're gonna come for one, even though it's still working.
Okay.
You know, it says not, we're
I
talking a lot of money. We need to work these details out.
Gotta be about fails.
This is already, the plan would be that we would actually be targeting neighborhoods with high flows. So we would be asking people to get their lateral inspected and try to rehab a neighborhood. We want to do 160 rehabilitations a year. That's all figured into that cost. The failures would be maybe 20 failures a year. And they would be paying a $3,000 assessment for a repair of a failure. So I took the history of what we've seen for failures and used that. If the failures jump way out of proportion, we could be off for a few years. I don't know.
So if someone's lateral, they had it scoped and it's not in good shape, but it's still working, and they're not in that particular flow area, you're gonna say, well, no, we're not gonna do that?
Sorry, you've been paying your fee, we're not
After
going
the
to do
person
it.
paying the
No,
fee?
but what I would say is we would take, anyone that has a problem with their lateral now could get it inspected after they get
Right.
it cleared.
Well,
And they can turn that inspection into us, and we can prioritize that to add it to our program. So we could do some in an area, and then pick up the few that we have that, and again, they would be prioritized. Not every one of them, just because they're leaking, you don't have to go out and fix them right away.
Scott,
Do you foresee
another
the fund
attorney.
ever running dry? I mean, you
We
say,
keep adding money to it.
we have a
raise the fees.
lot of properties that, well, we're anticipating will have this problem. Will we ever have enough, or not enough money to pay these people?
Well,
Not for the homes.
I don't know that we wouldn't run out of money. What we'd have to do is stretch the work out.
Things work.
You're spending what you bring in that year. You're not gonna go in debt with this. It's a cash flow. So prioritizing the work is very important.
Same
We have a lot of
principle
people
that you have with roads.
Yeah.
We're using the same 10 million a year for the last
If
20
someone has
years.
a leaking lateral,
We do less and less.
they're not gonna get backed up because of that. But if we know about it and we have it, we can do it 5 years from now, as long as that person isn't gonna get backed up, it's not gonna hurt anything.
But what if it gets backed up? We know that it's failing, and it gets backed up. And then they say, hey, you had me on this list. You guys should have helped me pay for this thing 2 years ago, and now my basement's flooded, and I need a new furnace.
Sue for all damages.
I'm not a lawyer. We're not that far yet. I get that. I think public hearing, yes. I think direct mail, yeah.
So the administration and finance at this point, we'll vote on the approval of the mailing
For the public hearing.
of the public hearing.
Yep.
Both concerns, so
So moved.
it's been moved.
Yeah.
Second,
Yep.
all in favor, administration and finance?
Aye.
Carry.
Public Works, I look for a recommendation.
I'll make this same motion as safety and development have for
I'll
public
second.
hearing and direct mailing.
Moved by Alderman Weigel, seconded by Alderman Reinke. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, sir. I apologize. Yeah, either way, sure. Yeah, because I have, sign it first, though. Sign it. Yep. With that, Public Works will continue. We're going to take 4 items, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. That is 5, isn't it? All together, these are all new items introduced that have to go in for public hearing and resolutions. This is the preliminary plans, specifications.
Move for
Get
approval.
an extra pen.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Chaplesky, seconded by Alderman Reinke. Further discussion, Alderman Chaplesky.
The only thing I just, about 58th Street, that one-way by Walker, I think I called you on that, just to make sure that we make it that it's a one-way, because it'll never be anything else.
You sure?
It's a one-way. Well, no. Well, do you want people driving out on 60th?
No. But no, I remember that discussion,
So we can take the
and
barrel
I
down.
will email it, I will send it over to Pete, and I'm sure he knows.
I'm gonna take the barrel and put it in a court after we're done with it.
So that's items number 14 through, Alderman wrote.
Just curiosity,
Absolutely.
and I don't know what he's doing. Where's Finger Place? Item 18. Must be south of Arthur, right?
That has gotta be just a little, what is that, 68?
Just curious, it doesn't-
Yeah, finger.
The Angle Street over off of Beloit.
Frankly, in 14 years, I never heard of finger place.
Okay.
telling you the
You don't have to look,
I'd have to-
I
I'd have
just
to
thought
take a
maybe
look
you'd
there.
say it's,
It should be like in line with that.
truth.
Oh, yeah.
Echo Lane?
That's not helping. It's not that big a city.
You know where Echo Lane is?
I'll be looking for it over the
The
weekend.
old Mark's Big
I
Boys.
didn't know where it was. I didn't know, I'm done.
All right, we're all finished with that? Okay, again, items number 14 through 18, it's been moved by Alderman Chaplesky, seconded by Alderman Reinke. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 19 on tonight's agenda.
I had to read these things.
Supplement order from the Office of Commission of Railroads regarding the petition of Wisconsin Department of Transportation for the altercation of public crossing of I-94 and Hank Aaron State Trail, Union Pacific Railroad Company tracks in the city of West Dallas.
Apparently Union Pacific didn't do what they were told before, so now the DOT's trying to get mad. Like this is gonna do anything. But anyway, they got some signals and some miscellaneous work due to the zoo interchange over there. Why they send us this when it doesn't have anything to do with us.
Yeah, we have no power here.
We don't
No,
have-
we're just gonna
Well,
place it on
The
file.
DOT's told them already, and
Yeah.
Union Pacific said,
Alderman Weigel?
do we
I
care?
guess, so the DOT has a petition? Or the DOT can tell the Office of the Commissioner what to do? The
Well,
DOT is-
this is the office, this is the DOT, the Office of Commissioner of Railroads.
That's a
census
subset
order.
of the DOT.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as usual, the railroad ignores
Right.
any of that sort of data. So now the DOT is trying to tell them, no, we need this now, we want you to do this.
Has absolutely
Move to
nothing to
place
do
on
with
file.
us.
Yeah. Second.
Please.
Alderman Chapletsky, seconded by Alderman Weigel. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 30 on tonight's agenda, communication from the Director of Public Works City Engineer regarding yard waste management services agreement with Purple Cow. Mike Lewis.
Yeah, I hope everyone got my email.
Yep.
When we had to award this contract about a year and a half or so ago, and we were kind of stuck between the good old hard place. We only got one bid, and the bid was, I don't remember exactly, but it was higher than what we originally had. That person that we had before for a number of years basically got out of it, and he's gone now. So we have talked around, and we have tried to drum up other potential bidders. We've got, I believe, a couple. We've also been in talks with Wauwatosa to try to combine efforts. So there is a 90-day clause, which according to my calendar reading arithmetic would be October 1st, where us and/or Purple Cow would have to go in a written agreement to extend the contract for another year. I'm recommending not to do that. Send them notice that we're not. That doesn't mean that all my other bright ideas might fail, and we might have to bid it out anyway in late winter, early spring again. Keep in mind that rebidding a contract is no guarantees that, number one, you're going to get any more bidders or get a cheaper price or anything else. But I think in this case, it's worth a try.
So when is the contract due?
The contract is done December 31st.
December 30th, so we have
At
time.
midnight. No, and we, by written agreement, we have to enter into an extension 90 days prior to that, which would be basically August or October 1st. In this case, with your permission, I'll be sending an email or a letter to them saying that we chose not to do that. And we'll see what happens.
I agree.
Looking for approval.
To approve?
That's a communication. Just move, place on file.
I need approval.
Oh, okay,
Place
place
on
on file.
A second.
Moved by Alderman Weigel, seconded by Alderman Chapletsky. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 21 on tonight's agenda, communication from Director of Public Works City Engineer regarding proposed changes to the solid waste and recycling collection. Mike?
Again, I hope everyone got my relatively short email on this. I know Alderman Rote knows pretty much exactly what I'm talking about and what we saw in Tulsa, because he went with us during that trial. What I am looking at to get a feel for if I should continue to pursue down this road, because the goal to a one-man automated system like Tulsa's got is relatively easy public works wise, but when it comes to political and politics in here and the service that we have been giving people compared to what it needs to be in order to convert to this is totally two different things. As I pointed out in there, you got to put the carts in the proper place. They do not come around and swing around and pick up anything after the fact. Anything that's out of the cart gets charged a separate fee. They have another pickup fee, and some of those mounds of garbage really weren't that big, and they were charging $150 on some of them. Doesn't mean I'm setting a price or anything. Wauwatosa in there. And there was another. I'm sorry, I forget the third point.
Well, you
I had in there.
have cost of new trucks.
Yep, you do have cost of new. Now, the idea here is, and we're looking into it, is looking in the trucks that have got kind of a dual purpose. Number one, they would be able to pick up as we pick up now, but they're also able to be converted into a one-person, dual automated type of system.
That's really the packer on the truck, it's not the truck.
It's the packer on the truck.
Would a single truck pick up both the recyclable and the
No.
waste? Okay, so you still have two
It'll be
trucks.
separate, yeah. It'd still be separate. This blends into or flows into a recycling pickup there too, and that we go into a single stream type of thing. People have got a cart, they can throw everything in there.
All the
Now
recyclables.
Separate, all recyclables.
Garbage
You
and-
still would have two carts, garbage, recyclables. But it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be our blue bag system. It wouldn't be that you have to bag your newspapers, mail separately. You just throw it in there. That's a little bit more further off in the future because of our existing contract that we've got with West Dallas Salvage, who has been a very good
Which goes
carrier.
goes through what year?
Chair?
2016, I believe. Don't hold me to that. It's a few years.
Alderman Rowe.
Now, we just saw that in the alley. How does it work on the street? Because the alley, there was no parking.
Yeah. Well, they don't come, I mean, people have to either, hopefully,
No, I understand it.
they put it in a spot where the other ones that their neighbors and that realize don't park, just like you would, don't park in front of your neighbor's mailbox.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it
makes
also doesn't have
sometimes-
overnight on-street parking. And they have way fewer alleys than we do.
And with this communication, you're gonna get back to us with costs and everything?
Well, I just want to feel out there that the cost structure and the engineering public works way of implementing this, that's,
You can
I mean,
do it.
it's
The question is,
relatively
can we
easy.
do it? Yeah.
The question is, the political side of it. I mean, we do provide, and I would argue that we provide an outstanding service to our citizens
What's
here on what we
gonna-
pick up.
Let's check.
And this is a major change, would be.
Yep. Alderman Rowe.
Who pays for the carts, the new carts? Or can we use our existing ones?
We should be able to use our existing garbage carts. But now again, this would
Should
be.
or can't?
Well, we should be able to. Remember, it's just kind of going up there, and I didn't see any real difference in their carts than the ones that we have. And we have a kaleidoscope of different types of carts out there now that we're able to handle. I don't see it as being an issue. But again, everybody would have to have a cart. And obviously, that has been.
There's,
have to start
Mike and I
with-
discussed, just quickly, we were just tossing around, and you have to have two carts now, because you have to have a recycle cart, and you have to have the regular cart. Well, almost everybody has a garbage cart, so that would be a part where they'd be forced to buy that one. And then possibly and again, this is just talking out loud, this is no facts, possibly you give them the recycle cart. They get that one since we didn't introduce that yet.
I just,
Or you make them buy one of those. I mean, that part would be discussed further down the line, not right now. There's no decisions that have to be made.
no, I understand it. I just want to get our thoughts out there.
Yeah, there's different ways to go.
My thinking is I don't want to get strung out with those big flower pots again. From the
Yeah, I don't think we'll see those.
80s. No, I know what it is, but just,
Alderman Chablusky.
How does this benefit the taxpayer? The everyday person, now telling me that he's gonna have, that there's all these penalties for not putting your garbage in the exact same spot. So what benefit is it to them? We're not going to eliminate any jobs, so taxes won't go down or anything, it just.
I envision that will eliminate a position or two, but one of my intents here is to reallocate those people that are on garbage pickup into other things. And I'm talking about, I can walk you around the neighborhood right now when it comes to catch basins, manholes, pavement repair type of work, all the stuff that we need to
Forestry,
start.
patching.
Forestry is a perfect one there too.
We need
In
more
that,
people there?
in allocating that, I'm not coming here tonight telling you that I want to eliminate those, we got 6 routes or whatever, those 6 jobs out there, because I need those for other things that we are falling behind on. Just as much as we're falling behind on all the stuff underground, we're not doing any better on the surface.
So you're looking just for guidance right now into,
Looking-
should you look into it?
Yeah, I mean, if I hear no, we're happy with what we got now, then it'll save me a lot of time.
I think we should be looking into the costs.
Yeah. Just points, I know that Alderman Rowe, you actually went on a ride with because Wauwatosa is doing this already. I know that the city of Onalaska is doing the same thing already. The same exact thing that he's talking about. Alderman Weigel?
My concern is that those non-compliant situations, we're gonna have a higher non-compliance rate in West Dallas than Wauwatosa. We have way more renters, and that renter's non-compliance, that fee is gonna fall on the property owner. Unless, of course, unless they've got some sort of lease, complicated lease that says that any fees that the tenant incurs upon the property, the tenant shall be, So I know the problem we have with just right now with just our relatively simple garbage rules. We have a lot of people who can't follow the rules, and with the churn, the turnover, tenants coming and going. That's every month. There's going to be a bunch of new people that have to get educated. Every renter is going to have a sign in his face when he signs his contract. Go, by the way, on Thursdays, this is exactly where you have to put the garbage, and if you don't, I'm I'm taking it out of your security deposit, you know, I mean, it's just gonna be.
That's the landlord's responsibility.
That's what the yes, it will be the landlord's responsibility,
It is.
and I think it's gonna be a huge nightmare.
I think you end up with your first month's gonna be horrible.
Yes.
And then, you know, it'll get better as people get used to it, but, you know, you're always gonna have the problem, especially with somebody pulling their car in front. So,
Yeah,
you
because,
know,
again,
Yeah, and the
Walton
alleys.
Tulsa does not have on-street overnight parking at all.
Period.
There's no permit for it, it's not allowed anywhere. So every morning at 6 AM, the streets are empty. And every morning at 6 AM, you look into West Dallas, at least in the east half of the city, half of every street is full. And tomorrow, it's the other side of the street.
it sounds like the consensus is that we want
We want to look.
them to
into-
go forward, want them to look into it, want them to give us some costs and get us a little more details. And I wouldn't mind even maybe setting up something where we can take a look.
I'd like to hear from the other communities as well that have this kind of,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
see what you know, see if you can get any
Yes.
comments from them, that's excellent. This is just a communication to place on file, all they wanted was a little bit of guidance. Is there a motion to place on file?
So moved.
second,
Moved by Alderman Weigel, seconded by Alderman Reinke. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. With that, that's the end of Public Works. We'll now turn the meeting over to Mickey Chapleski, Chairman of License and Health. Mick?
Since I'm hearing it.
Are they still going over there?
You're still going in?
What could be as important as what we're talking about?
Don't know. I can go check.
What are you starting at, 32?
Thank you. I thought Monica knew everything.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Now we have to wait for a house.
Okay.
Is there anything?
Can I, you want to do 33 through 35?
Yeah, 34, wait, sorry, 33. Okay, let's do that. We have 33, 34, and 35.
I'll move approval.
Second, subject to necessary requirements.
Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have item number 36 to the police department reports.
Move the place on file.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Do we have any other ones? here? I think that's it.
No.
Warrants.
2 more items they have.
Okay, so when...
Anybody that's out there that's waiting for appearances, we have to wait for one more Alderperson who's in another meeting. That's why we didn't call you up first. So we took care of some. In case you're wondering what.
Well, we can take item number 32. I'll just discuss this, and this is Susan Frazen. Was she reported? Did she have to appear or not? Not
No,
Jan's
Frazen.
no, this is tied also
Susan
to
Jan's-
number
Susan
28.
Frazen.
So the public hearing is scheduled for October 7th on the special use, and this is just the request for amending the premises.
Extension of premises.
Right.
Yes. Is that your district or mine?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's mine.
I'm trying to picture, is she on the alley there? Is that on the alley?
I think it's right on the end. And truthfully, I've never been
Is there a
backyard
residence
there.
right next door? I was gonna go by there today and it slipped my mind.
Only doing at the bar. I think there's residents on one side, I think the businesses on the other side.
Don't have to act on it
Yeah.
tonight. If you want more time, can wait.
Well, it's
2
gonna be a
weeks.
public hearing on it anyways. We're not approving it, are we?
Request to
You're
amend
just giving your
premises.
input as part of the whole process
Oh, that's right.
Request to amend premises.
Well,
regarding the license only, not
Yeah.
the special use.
yeah, and there's, I mean, we've had her in here a couple times.
Yeah, it was just kid things,
Yeah.
just recently, but.
And there's no
overall.
food service there, right? I think it's straight up bar.
They may serve pizzas, I've never been in there, so I don't know. Do you want to hold it? Do you want to go ahead with it? What did you look
It's up to you guys.
Well, I think this is because we wanted to give safety and development some direction on our feelings on whether it was a problem spot or not. That's our question, is that?
I don't think it's a problem spot. So, the motion to approve then. Yeah, it's number 32.
I had it.
Do I have a motion?
When you went back to
Well,
28.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be voting no,
Alderperson.
because I have voted no for all those that are not an extension of a patio for dining, so I am not in favor of smoking courts and beer
Okay.
dens.
I'm gonna move approval.
Second.
Okay, Alderman Haas, we're talking about item number 32, extension of premises. This has got to go for a special use, and so it's going to get
Public hearing.
safety, public hearing, safety development. But this is, you know, it's not a bar that we've had problems with before. And
Thank you. There's a motion for
There's motion for approval.
I'll second it.
No, it's already been made and seconded.
But, okay.
But I mean, so it's just further discussion. I just want to
Thank
see
you.
that you walked in on that.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. Okay, then we just voted on the ones that, the standard ones. I'll discuss that with you when we're done.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 42, Edward Brown.
Good evening.
You're going to be taking over
Hang on.
the keys?
I can't find it. I'm sorry. That's it, okay, that's what I thought. Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to be excused from the meeting.
You are, so.
Thank you.
And so, you know, what type of operation are you planning to have there? You're familiar with what's there now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And how are you going to change that, or how are we going to?
Well, actually, and I'm glad you asked that question, and good evening, gentlemen. What I plan to put there is an upscale lounge, what I'm calling an ultra lounge. You guys have probably been in the place already, obviously. If you look at the decor, we don't plan on changing that at all. I might add a couple couches, make it a little bit more plush, but in terms of paint techniques and art, it fits perfectly what we're talking about. I think the most obvious cosmetic change that we'll do is just changing the awning and then taking down the signage, 88 keys. But, so short of that, we'll also serve food. We're going to have soul food prepared by my sister, Anna Brown, and a woman named Jody, who's actually a chef. This thing will be serving primarily bar foods and whatnot. It won't be a really crazy extensive menu. It'll be things that people can order, quick to drop, fry, put on a plate.
Okay, well, is there a kitchen there?
There's a small kitchen, but we're going to go inside and renovate the kitchen. Yeah, we've actually been talking to contractors and talked to the city already about extending the kitchen as it is. So that's something that we're hoping, if this goes through tonight, that we can go inside in earnest as early as this weekend and get the contractor started with his measurements or whatnot, architect and everything like that.
And the only other thing that kind of jumped out at me is, I think you're going to have a disc jockey.
Well, yes, but, and I hate to say it like that, but we're going to have a guy who comes in maybe on a Saturday night and plays music. Short of that, we'll use the house music system that we have, but I want to be clear about something. I want to be very candid with this thing, too. I want to let the public decide how this thing should be. And what I'm talking about is we're going to go in and have a certain set of nights, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for football or whatnot. But I want my patrons to tell me what they want to see in the venue. Because what I'm going to come in with, it's going to be grown, it's going to be sexy, if you don't mind me using that word, chic, laid back, but I kind of want to grow it organically. I want the public to tell us what they want there.
Okay, because I just bring it up because we've had problems with places that have.
Yeah, oh, I heard. Trust
disc
me.
jockey. We've had a lot of problem places.
Yeah.
And we've grown to have a very short tension or short leash on a lot of these things where
Yes, sir.
in the beginning we used to let them go and give them a break, but we've learned now that giving somebody a break doesn't happen. So if there's all of a sudden a couple of problems,
Sure.
you know, you're in front of us for revocation of license.
Yeah, which is not what we want. And I just should
You
mention
know.
too, since you brought that up, sir, you know, we're going to be stakeholders in this area. We have now a commercial lease with Suzanne Ball and Mr. Barczak, and we have an option to purchase this venue within a year. So obviously it behooves us to go into the thing, do our due diligence, run a nice, safe, clean operation everybody feels comfortable in, and then we can go to the bank and take care of the second half of our business at the end of year one. And that's our goal.
So you're just leasing it right now?
Yeah,
For
commercial,
sure?
yes. Technically a lease with a purchase option.
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Weigel.
So you don't, Do you have experience in the business currently?
Not now. I used to own a venue in Louisville, Kentucky, right across from the Brown Hotel down there, called the Roxbury.
Can't say I'm familiar with
Yeah, yeah.
it. I'm looking at your projected numbers here. 40% food sales to me, I think, is pretty high.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think that's a reasonable number to expect. I mean, I don't know how big a kitchen, you're converting the office into a kitchen?
No, have you been inside the venue?
Well, I have a blueprint, we got a plan, we have a plan.
Okay, I wish I had that in front of me. But that kitchen right there that you see,
It has a microwave in it.
yeah, that thing's gonna be extended. We're gonna put a full commercial hood in it, so we can cook food and,
In that same space?
no,
You're not touching the bathrooms?
No, we definitely have to go back. But I think this doesn't do justice to where the kitchen actually is. This is the wrong side. Actually, this kitchen is on this side, where it says
Kitchen's
office.
where it says office?
Yes, sir. So if you go back.
So
and-
the blueprint you submitted here is wrong?
No, this is the actual blueprint that was there. This is.
This
the
is
one
what's
that-
there?
Yeah, this is the one that
Okay.
existed, yeah.
So you're talking about a 12-foot hood?
No, actually, we had a guy come out, like I said before, Sucre and Company, and the dimensions were 36 by 72, which approximates
6
to
foot.
about 6 foot hood. Yeah.
So, 2 deep fryers and a stove?
I'm thinking maybe 3D fryers, stove, griddle.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
And
but
you
just-
you're gonna have to get a permit for that? and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that?
Yeah, we're prepared.
Because there's other businesses that do this stuff.
Thank
in
you, sir.
Illinois.
Yeah.
And then on your application, I can't tell from my copy, because I have a full copy. Did you check bands?
I did.
Okay, so you're gonna do bands,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna do any video games?
No video games.
Not even the video poker games?
No,
Good.
no,
And you're not gonna have a jukebox?
no. We have an in-house system.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
No, I'm just, and you're not gonna have like trivia night?
No,
Okay, because that'd be like patron contest.
yeah.
And you're not gonna do karaoke either?
Now, I thought I checked karaoke, because I certainly have a desire to do that.
Not on my copy.
Okay, I'll have to amend that,
Okay,
because I
okay.
certainly want to do that.
And no pool table?
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, I just so we're all,
Yeah.
just so everything's, we all understand.
Alderman, if you can, just picture an upscale chic lounge. kind
I'm
of
in the
a
bar and
thing.
restaurant business.
Okay, so you know, yeah.
I actually have to keep up on that, John, even if that's not what my business is.
Uh-huh.
I try to keep current with
Okay.
trends. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to, more life on the street and all
Hope
that.
to see you there, yeah.
Yeah, you will see.
Okay, good.
But, and I guess, and let's go back to this place in Kentucky you had. Was it a big
Yeah.
place, a little place?
Huge place. Now, this thing was 920 person capacity, had an upper mezzanine. It used to be owned by former NBA basketball player Del Griffith.
Okay, and when was this?
2009 to 2012, June approximately.
Okay, you're not there anymore because you just moved.
No, actually, I divested myself. I had 2 partners in the venue. We caught one of the partners stealing, unfortunately.
Really?
Got into civil litigation. I know.
Partners didn't get along? in the
It's
partners?
crazy. You gotta watch the money. I know. And basically, my brother and I, we divested ourselves of that venue and just came out of it.
Okay, and you said Anna's your sister?
Yeah, she's right here.
Okay, and because I saw her name on the application as the agent for the corporation?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's all I had.
Okay.
Mr. Chair? Yeah, and the name of the new facility is going to be 7 West Ultra Lounge
Yeah,
and
7
Bistro.
West, well, actually 7 West Bistro and Ultra Lounge. We sort of,
Switch that around a little
yeah.
bit. Okay.
And 7 West is a play on the actual address, 7211 West Greenfield, so we shortened it and tried to make it something, again, chic. I'm using that word over today, but, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
But you want to do that as amended and check karaoke
Oh, that's
right
amended
away?
and check, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, amend it to check the karaoke.
Yes, sir.
And that was it, right?
Yeah, I'll have that done tomorrow.
No, we'll
We
amend
can
it
do
right
it.
here.
Oh,
We just did.
good, thank you.
We just did.
Okay.
Magic.
As amended? Okay, the motion, do I have a
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Excuse.
Yeah, and one excuse. Okay. Okay,
Thank
good
you, sir.
luck.
Thank you.
And, well, abide by all the laws, work with our police department when they come in.
Yes, sir.
We didn't give that speech.
Oh, we didn't have the speech yet.
Okay.
Okay, it's just.
Who's gonna give us
Sit back down.
Okay.
You're good at the speech, you get the speech.
Get comfortable.
So,
So in West Dallas, and this is actually for the benefit of anybody else applying for a regular bartender's license tonight also, so we only have to give the speech once.
what's the other one?
We expect the bar employees, bartenders specifically, to be partners with the police. When there's a problem, call the police.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that. If there's any problems.
We really frown on it when there is a problem, and we don't hear about it till the victim turns up at the hospital with a broken nose or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
The police will be sending in people that are not 21 years old to try to buy stuff, you know, assume that you're gonna deal with training your employees correctly and all that. Boy, am I getting that short? What am I forgetting?
Just cooperate with the police.
Cooperate with the police.
at it.
Are you going to have a camera system?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yes.
It's in it?
Yeah,
Okay, I
it's in
didn't see
there.
that.
We're actually inheriting one that's there now, but we're probably gonna add a couple more cameras.
Make sure they work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have-
We want our bartenders, that's what I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
When we get police reports from tavern issues,
Mm-hmm.
and when it says it's severely intoxicated,
Mm-hmm.
or when a victim's friends call them the next day because they want to check on their well-being, don't serve people to the point of like
Sure.
unconsciousness.
Mhm.
It's wrong, and it's against the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you have my word. My family and I will follow all protocols and,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman, one more thing. We don't want to hear uncooperative bartender.
Oh, yeah.
In the police report.
Police report
We got
says
one later on it.
Yeah.
So.
Since we're having this discussion, is that a common problem that you've seen in West Dallas with
not
some of the
uncooperative
bars?
bartenders, but just
Yeah.
It
over-serving.
happens every so often. Over-serving.
Gotcha.
And again, I'm in the business, I understand, a patron can come in at midnight and drank at home, walked
Yeah.
in, walks up to the bar and says, I'll have a light, and the bartender's supposed to make a decision
Right.
with those few words, whether they're drunk or not, you know?
That's right.
And it can be difficult, but when we read the report and it's midnight and the guy's been sitting there since 5 PM.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we know how that happened.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Timothy Kershaw?
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to be present at the meeting again.
Jump on in.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Okay, now, you're the owner of the new Customs? Do you own it?
Everything but the building. Egg, no stones.
Yeah, you're renting from them?
Yeah.
You working towards buying it?
We have the first right of refusal, but
Sale.
that's sure gonna take a while.
Well, this thing kind of jumped out at me when you have a custard stand that wants a wine and a beer license. And it just, to me, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, what type of operation are you envisioning that you're gonna have beer and wine?
Well,
Beer and wine and
It's
burger
it's
and
mostly for the
Sunday.
beer. When I talked to the clerk, she said you could just do the wine right away too. I guess I wouldn't be looking to serve wine right away unless it became something that was asked for. But I'm just trying to. I don't know if you guys have been there, but especially on Friday night, our fish fry is growing like crazy, and especially during Lent. And of our customers, like last week, we had about 70 fish fry customers. And I would say I had 5 requests for a beer. And they said, boy, if you served a beer here, I'd come here every week. And it's just something that I was thinking about, having a beer. I don't know if you're familiar with like Dr. Dog's. It's a dog
Yeah.
place. They serve a couple like micro brews.
Free beer on Wednesday at Dr. Dog's.
Oh, really?
With sandwich and fries.
Where's it?
78th and Layton.
78th and Layton.
And then like
Never been
Dickie's
there.
barbecue pits opening up everywhere. Like,
Never had beer there, but I've
Dickie's
been.
barbecue pit. I walked in there one day for lunch. About a fourth of the guys had a bottle of beer, and I thought, you know what? It's just another way to get me over the edge to renewing my lease in 3 years to making a profit. And it's something that I look for when I went out for a fish fry, so I thought I'd shoot it up.
Mr. Chair?
Alderman Weigel.
This just seems weird to me too. I appreciate the way you present it, and it makes sense. To me, the hamburger parlors, I'm not gonna show my age, like the soda bar and all that, but it was always that kind of what set it apart. I take my kids after a soccer game, and there wasn't beer. You know what I mean? And so you're not gonna do a major. You're not gonna convert it into like maybe a ground roundish kind of thing, and then evolve it into more of a. It's still gonna be big deal burgers.
It's still gonna be big deal burgers.
And you're gonna have like a cooler. Now you understand. I mean, you know the rules, right?
Yeah,
You have to have a licensed bartender there all the time. I know you hire. Usually, sometimes you have like 16, 17-year-old kids working there. So they won't be able to do those sales. You understand all that.
Yeah, I'm not planning on it being a big part at all. I mean, even the 5% we thought was high. I mean, it'd just be, like I said, like a Dickie's kind of. And I'm aware, I was general manager over at the Fireside in Fort Atkinson. I had my liquor license
So you
there.
know
I was
the
at
rules.
Cops for 15 years, and again, so I know that I ran Cops for 15 years on Blue Mountain. I know it sounds a little weird, but I'm trying to differentiate myself a little bit from all the custard places in the Milwaukee area, because I'm starting to make a success over there, but it took the year and a half. So just trying to differentiate a little bit.
You know, Starbucks nationally is trying to put beer, wine, and liquor in their locations everywhere they can. You know, it's just a trend. You know, and I like to talk to Alderman Probst. I'm the alderman of the district, one of the two, and I think I'd like to talk to Alderperson Probst about it a little bit more. We need an answer now.
I'm not in a hurry.
I mean, and there's not a public hearing on this or anything. This is this is just going to be
One beer license available.
There's
yet.
one beer license, and if we wait 2 weeks, I don't know.
Well, we're not gonna okay any before that time.
He'd have dibs on this one.
Yeah, he's in.
His application
line.
is
Right.
his application is in.
He trumps it.
You know,
Mr. Chairman, just to piggyback on your, you went to Cops or McDonald's or whatever. And
with the kids, that's what we did, and it wasn't beer.
At the same time, after soccer, we went to places like Shakey's and Organ Piper
And they had
Pizza. And the reason we went there is we could get a beer while the kids, gave them $10 and they went and played the machines and had their pizza and whatever. So, I mean,
I'm leaning towards
that's
it.
the other side of that.
There's another alderperson that represents the area, and I'd like to talk to her about it and see what her thoughts are. It's not going to be a business, if you have to wait 2 weeks, it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, that's,
Not
in
deal breaker.
fact, I have to resubmit some paperwork for a new blueprint and stuff.
I'm looking forward to having a beer with my turtle.
And I think,
You know what, the idea came actually during state fairs. One of the biggest hits at the state fair was beer floats.
yeah, you could do a beer float.
I thought about that, but I've been testing them, and I've been tasting them.
Yeah.
They haven't been that great.
Not so much.
It's a hard root beer and a hard ginger ale.
Okay, so
Okay, we're gonna hold it.
we're gonna hold this item, and then,
The chairman takes control of the committee.
pardon me? 43 and 44.
I have on here outdoors. Were you expecting patrons to be able to walk out the door and sit outside in your patio and have a beer?
Oh, well,
Because you should put that should be in your
That's
application.
an extension of premises.
That's gonna be an extension of premises. Otherwise, they're gonna have to stop at the door.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing, they told me to resubmit that.
Yeah, you want-
I said, well, whatever you guys want, really. If you tell me they can't go on the patio, well, then they can, if I need to remodel the patio a little bit so that they can go sit outside.
Well,
and
what I'm
hand it.
saying is if you want it, you should ask for it right away and just be
Yeah.
done with it.
I do.
Yeah, you're about to have a nice hotel right next door to you, so not gonna hurt you.
But there's proposed a restaurant.
Absolutely, but
It's right in
still,
between.
trust me, when you go,
Not with
I
beer
travel quite a
floats.
bit.
Yeah.
I travel quite a bit, and seldom do I eat at the hotel. Seldom.
There's no restaurant in the hotel.
No, they're
thought
putting it
there is.
between now.
No, it's not,
I have not seen
it's
that.
not, yeah, it's not done yet. We don't have to worry about that.
To go before this august body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take this up to the next council meeting. Okay, some communication from the Director of Building Inspections and Neighborhood. Do we have Jacob Silver here? Hello?
How we doing?
Okay. You know why you're here.
Oh, I do.
Okay, there was one question that someone asked me. You did get a facade grant.
Yes,
The city gave you a facade
Correct.
grant. For how much?
30,000.
Okay.
So just under.
Okay. Ted, you wanna?
At the request of the 4th District Alderperson, we wanted to bring this in and have an understanding with the owner of the, at least this is the license operator and the property owner, to get this repairs done. It's been 19 months, and we just got the building permit issued yesterday, and he can explain some issues that happened along the way.
Looks like
But
it doesn't.
if you can imagine a neighbor having to see that for 19 months.
Is that a facade over a block wall?
It was actually a
Heat
brick.
blankets, masonry.
No, I understand what that is, but it says
Veneer failed.
Yeah, it was a brick veneer over a block wall or frame wall. Frame wall.
And it just failed. It just got old, actually,
It's
my
113
understanding.
years old, I believe the building
It
is.
says there were no brick connectors to the structure.
The connectors
Rusted.
rusted or were never.
Or they were not enough.
Nothing lasts forever.
Brick's supposed to, my parents gave us.
So we have cooperation. It would appear he's got the permit and there was some zoning issues. He intends, I believe, to have it all done by December 31st, or the grant or loan.
I believe that's where the grant is requiring that, in order to
It's not
get that
done, you
money.
don't get the money.
Correct. And I believe there is extensions because there's already been one extension filed for it from my contractor, because we knew right away that there was no way in the amount of time that when we were talking about this originally that it was gonna get done in 90 days. Every step is 10 steps back with everything that we've worked with. We've had the architects made 4 different plans already, changed it several times, appease one person, appease another person. We had a big holdup on, believe it or not, the asphalt that's surrounding the building. That was one of the longest holdups and problems. After we kind of got the building semi-straightened out, they were more concerned about the asphalt out on the north and the west side of the building, and then getting the garbage cans enclosed.
Who was they?
Our staff.
Sean
Commission.
Miller, that was sorry, I don't know who I should be addressing for each additional thing. I've talked to several different people, and everybody's got one thing or another. That was a big concern for the last like 2-3 months. I've been getting estimates from up in the $10,000 range. They gave me 3 options to do brick, do concrete, pavers, or grass. And seeing as though it is a business, it is on the corner, I was really trying to stay with doing some sort of concrete or pavers because I really think that would be much more aesthetically pleasing than grass, especially considering the school is so close. Kids are outside, now all the smoking's outside, everybody's throwing their cigarette butts around. I could put as many ashtrays as I want out there and everybody still flicks them there. So putting grass out there I thought was going to be pretty much more of a chore than anything, and it won't look as good. Well, after we did have to fix the basement, we did a bunch of about a $40,000 foundation repair in between all this as well as buying my neighbor a new driveway. And the bills just keep piling up, and well, as we all know, the economy's not what it is or was 10 years ago. I can't just keep coming up with money every which way, and for me to spend $10,000 on concrete or pavers to put out there, it just can't happen. So now we've resorted to doing grass. I did pay I put a check down instead of doing bonding and all that already, just to speed up the process. So now we're set on that, and I believe I have 2 years to do that.
Did you go back to the planning? Planning knows that you changed the original plan?
Yeah, that has really nothing to do with the building plan. That's part of the site and landscape. Yeah, and I work with Sean with that. I was just with him the other day.
As long as they know it, because they'll come back at you.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so you're comfortable with this?
In one, yes, by issuing the permit yesterday, and I hear him saying he's gonna have it done by, and I assume the alderman of the district, which, by the way, the 4th district is across the street.
It's my district.
But he has to sit there and look at it.
Yeah.
Well, and I
I'm
actually...
getting the calls from the.
Okay, well, see, I called Rosalie. I called and talked to her because that's how I found out who she was for the alderman from my district.
He's also.
Okay, well, see, I didn't know. I typed in the address and that's who told me to call. So I called and talked to her, and I wanted to, let her know and touch base because from what it seems like, I talked to one person, talked to another. Nobody has any communication between rooms or has anything. And I haven't got a call from the alderman, nor has my grandparents. And now I read the letter that was sent and everything, and I wanted to call and touch base with her and let her know, hey, we're not sitting on our thumbs on this. The first almost about 8 months of this project was spent battling our insurance company, who we dropped because they wouldn't cover a cent of this. So, and as you can see, this is not a cheap or small remodel.
Repair and remodel, yeah. So, okay.
I have a chair.
And as far as her knowledge, she said she hadn't had any calls. So I said, all right, well, somebody's getting calls, and I don't know. And then he explained to me that she wasn't the normal person; that there was another alderperson or two that was getting calls.
Because you read on the board.
Correct. And then he showed me on the map where it was. So.
Do I have a motion, places on file?
I think call the
I just
deferral.
wanted to say one more thing.
We'll just do an open discussion.
Okay, go ahead. Move the place on file.
Second.
Okay, further discussion, Alderman Road.
Thank you. I heard December 31st, an extension in the same sentence.
Early this
You
year.
said your architect could ask for more extensions.
No, the first extent, we've been working on this for a while, and they gave us 90 days from the very start of whenever the grant was into effect, and the contractor already had to ask for, it was another either 90 days, or I'm not exactly sure the amount of time, I had to ask for an extension, because obviously it wasn't getting it done in 90 days because they hadn't even issued the permits yet. There were still changes to be made, or that were necessary on the facade, so, and like I said, there's been many changes, windows, all kinds of stuff.
So I could be there New Year's Eve for the grand reopening?
I would really hope so.
No, you're supposed to say yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I know you said you're tired of seeing it, but I got to tell you, I've been there for 14 years now, and I really hate seeing it. It's awful. The bridge was closed for 8 months, and I was really hoping that in that time I was going to be able to get this all finalized and done. And when they opened that bridge, that pretty much put my business to a absolute bare minimum, almost screeching halt.
And if I may, I'm not the one that generated the call. I facilitated. They called me.
Yes.
I don't go around looking for
Absolutely.
buildings falling down.
But I'm just letting you know, there's nobody that wants this done more than I do. Trust me, it's a black cloud that's been following me for the 18 or 19 months that this has been happening.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this issue? Okay, all in favor, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you, Ted.
Motion carried.
Ted's happy we're happy.
Ted, you want that back?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it back. Thank you. Recycle it.
Okay, item 46, Melanie Dorst. Okay.
Hi.
No? This is a new application for bartender's license?
Yes, I have one more people. I started to work at Tom's Foolery.
Okay, and
Let's do this.
you're gonna be working at Tom's
Tanner Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Big fish fry.
Alderman Weigel.
You have a driver's license?
No, I didn't even realize I didn't have one or warrant out for my arrest when I applied for my license.
So you squared up that warrant? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're showing warrant here, $114.
I have the receipt, and they I stopped in yesterday and they made a photocopy of it.
And so you have your driver's license back now?
No,
or-
I do not. Yeah,
How'd you
so
get here
I'm
today?
applying. My boyfriend dropped me off and he's picking me back up.
And how are you gonna get to work?
I walked to work.
That's not that far, I guess. It's not close to Village, right?
I just
Not
moved to
even-
my boyfriend's house in West Dallas, so he lives right down the street.
So the address on the application, isn't it right?
Correct.
Where do you live?
59th and Lapham. So it's just kind of far away, so walk or take a cab
So
until I
I'm-
get my license cleared up. I think it's only $75 to reinstate the license, so
I'm looking at your history.
terrible
here.
history. Yeah.
Terrible history. And the problem with the OWIs is you've proven that you've made some bad choices about your
And I
own
pay it
alcohol
for 'em.
consumption.
Absolutely.
And there are gonna be times when you're gonna be standing behind the bar, and the customer's gonna want another beer, and you're gonna make a decision for that customer.
Yeah, to have one or not, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally understand.
And we already know you can't do that for yourself. I guess that's
I've definitely learned my lesson over the last 7 years.
And I can't tell here, you have 2 or 3?
I have 2.
tell either.
I have one when I was 18, one when I was 23, and now I'm 30. So, and believe me, I do not drink and drive. I just had time in jail, so it sucked.
Okay,
It was
and then-
a big learning lesson, believe me.
And we have something here, subsequent drug offense manufacturing.
Yeah, I think that was when I was 23 too.
And what was
So,
that?
There was weed in my car, so in Amron County, they pulled. My friend was driving my car when I was 23, and we were smoking pot and got pulled over, and they tried to charge me with the weed and never did.
Well, why does it say drug offense manufacturing? That's not having weed in my car.
I have no idea. That wasn't. It's the only thing That's the only thing I've ever had. So and that's when I was young too. It was a stupid mistake being camping in the Dells, and I had to go out to court out in Amron County, and they never ended up charging me with it. But they put me in jail for like an hour, which sucked, and towed my car, and I had to pay $200 to my car.
Well, you know what, when you do stuff like that, that's what happens.
And I paid the price for it.
And unfortunately, this just isn't a very good history here.
Yeah.
You know, and last year, operating while suspended,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
even when you're not young and foolish anymore,
Yeah.
you're still acting foolish.
Yeah. And I think that I got that suspension because I didn't have car insurance at the time. So it was either that or I had a parking ticket. I can't remember why they suspended it. So, but I do have car insurance.
Well, you have a you had an Elm Grove operating while suspended in
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Then you have a West Dallas from June of last year.
Yeah.
It was operating while suspended.
Yeah. Correct. This is my livelihood and this is what I do for a living.
You have a Milwaukee license? Did
Yes,
read
I
that?
do.
Where were you
Yeah.
working in Milwaukee?
Liquid Johnny's. I've
Okay.
worked at Hotel Metro downtown.
Why aren't
too.
you working at Liquid Johnny's anymore? It's too slow because of the road construction?
No, I worked there for a long time. I like the place. It's time for a change. I worked there for 5 years, so. But it has slowed down the
Yeah.
business a lot, so. And Tom just opened up Tom Swiller. It's a really nice bar. And I take care of my mom, and this is what I've been doing for years.
This is your only job?
Yeah, it's my only job.
So you're working 40 hours a week? You're working
No, right now I
30?
just work 3 hours a week there, and then I'm gonna be working at Crapshoot if I get my license here today.
Which one's Crapshoot?
74th and Walker,
Oh, yeah,
Corbelli's.
yeah, the old Corbelli's.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's called Crapshoot now.
Yeah, interesting.
Is Tom aware of your record?
Yes, he is. He's known me for 9 years, so. And he knows I'm good at my job, and he wants me to run some of the bars, so, yeah, he knows. We play pool together, actually.
I guess, Mr. Chair, I wouldn't mind seeing your boyfriend here, who drove you here.
He is not here right now. I have to call him when I get out. He's visiting his mom. His mom's up north. Or from up north.
Well, she's up north.
Down, she's not
It's gonna be a
up
long
north
drive.
yet. No, she lives 4.5 hours away, so she's at her sister's house watching her kids because she's in Vegas. So he went to go see her, and I'm calling him when I leave here.
Okay, do I have any motion?
I just have all kinds of problems with this. Here's my issue.
Yeah.
My issue is that we're held accountable for decisions that we make. And should something happen, we give you the bartender's license and you get a drug charge, you get another OWI, and then all of a sudden the press starts looking into the records. And you've heard all these cases lately, if you listen to any kind of radio, going into, the people's past and saying, how can they, do this, and how did the person get this, or whatever. And we're held accountable.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem I have. When I look at something like this and I go, my gosh, how am I supposed to justify this when I see drug, 2 OWIs, I see drug charges on here, I see operating while suspended. I'm not sure that you did drive here or didn't drive here. We can find that out with the cameras later, because we have cameras all around you. You can see if you got out of a car.
Absolutely.
I personally can't support this.
Okay.
It's just, again, I'm held accountable for what I do, and when I look at something like this, it's just you made a lot of errors, and there's going to be times where you're going to pay for those errors.
Yeah, I've already paid a lot for them.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you did.
And I'm really good at my job, and I do make good decisions. And I'm not allowed to drink in my bar, and I do not drink while I'm driving my vehicle at all. I know the third offense is definitely, I think, a felony now, and I'm going to be sitting in jail for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And I have a life to live.
So do I have any motion from anyone?
Move for denial, Mr. Chair.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Sorry. Jessica Cheris? How do you pronounce that?
Cheris.
Okay, this is another new application.
I thought it was a renewal. I had one here in West Dallas.
Back in
Didn't it just
09.
expire?
We have new on here.
Oh.
When did you,
I bartended in 09. Well, I bartended at Wisconsin Athletic Club, and from 09 till
so 11, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
After that, then it just goes away. And when you're applying, it's a new license.
Oh, okay. I
So-
live in Milwaukee as well.
Mr.
No.
Chair.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, Alderman Weigel.
Jessica, where are you going to be working?
Danny Lynch's. I work there now. They stay there when I'm there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the troubling thing I see here is resisting or obstructing an officer in 05 in Brookfield.
The first time I came up, they never brought that one up, but
Well, I'm asking now.
yeah, I didn't even know I had that on my record.
So you don't even, I'm not asking if you know if it's on your record. I'm asking.
I don't-
Tell what happened. You don't even know what happened.
I can't even, no, I know I had an incident, I got a disorderly, but that was with
Possession
my
of
ex.
THC, the date, it says 11/20/05, so it'd be around Thanksgiving.
Of 2005, that's when I
2000
first moved here. I think I had like a disorderly with my ex or something.
Yeah, it says domestic violence related.
We were
disorderly.
arguing, and they came in there and they threw him on the ground, and I was like, get off of him, and then I got on the
And
ground.
the possession of THC,
Yeah, I had charged with that too.
and what was that?
I
couple
smoked at the
joints?
time. No, it was, I don't even know, 0.02 grams of marijuana.
So it's not even a joint, is it?
That's crumbs on the bottom of a bag, which I do not smoke anymore, so.
I mean, that would be the biggest problem I'd have.
Oh, the battery?
But yeah, Mr. Chair.
Aloha.
Yeah, March 18th, 2013, just last year, a battery charged by the West Dallas PD. Tell us what happened.
I bartended, was it March 20, what?
March 18th, 2013.
Okay, I bartended doing the St. Patrick's Day party at Lynch's. My brother had went in there with his girlfriend and they had gotten into a fight. I said, one of you guys have to leave. She left, she came back. And I said, well, you gotta leave now because you left already. I ended up closing the bar. He's still there, and I was like, you can just come by my house, don't go back over there or whatever, because I think she was outside in the parking lot, but then she's like, she's throwing all my stuff up, so I drove him over there to go pick up his stuff, and once I got out the car, there was his girlfriend, his friend, and her brother came out and started fighting me and him, so I got a battery charge, so it was two girls fighting me. So I
And
was
this
just defending
occurred though
myself.
while you were working at Lynch's as
No,
a
no, no,
bartender?
I was bartending, it was at bar close.
But you were working up until close time as a bartender at
Yes.
Lynch's?
Yep,
And this occurred after close?
yep.
But not at Lynch's.
No.
In front of his apartment or something.
No, yeah, I was right in front of his apartment. I pulled up just for him to get his stuff, and there was stuff outside, so I went to get out to start picking up the stuff and throw it in the car. And then the girlfriend's friend, and the brother, and the mom all came out, and they started attacking us. So I was defending myself against two girls. And
Wait.
I didn't know I necessarily got battery. I thought it was just a disorderly.
Yeah, what was the result of it? What happened?
Two girls were fighting me.
Was
and I
it dismissed?
Did you
found
go to
guilty?
court?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you-
I went to court, and I thought I got a disorderly conduct. I paid a $100 fine.
$100 fine?
Mhm.
Where did you go to court? Was it downtown Milwaukee?
No.
Where was it?
West Dallas.
Okay, is there anybody have a motion? or-
Well, okay.
Alderman Barczak.
As I look through this one and I go through 2005 is really the last thing except for the battery charge. From there on, it seems like you grew up a bit.
Yeah.
When I go through 2000 through 2014, I see ridiculous stuff. Ridiculous operating without a license. That's pretty bad. But then I see speeding, defective speedometer speeding.
I have an operating without a license.
Yeah, back in
In Ohio.
2009.
Oh, in Ohio? Okay, yeah, I took care of that.
So, those are
go back there
traffic
and take
things,
care
and
of
I
it.
don't really take those into account. So I'm gonna look 2005 to 2014, you really have one thing. I would say that, on this particular one, that you're on the right path. I would, watch it, and, be careful, because you do have a record started here, but from 2005 to pretty much current, you've been pretty on the up, except for your fist fight. So with that, I'm gonna move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Good luck, behave.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Josephine Crossley?
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for your time.
Once again, we have a new application, and you don't have, where are you planning on working? or you don't
I
know yet?
currently bartend at Shepherd's on 89th and Schlinger, but my license application really is because I'd like to take over Lenny's on 63rd and National. Lenny is in the process of selling to some investors that would like me to manage and run the place.
Okay,
That's not for a while though.
you wrote a novel of things here.
Yes, it looks pretty bad, I understand that.
Mr. Chair.
No, I think it was pretty bad. All
Yes.
one wrote.
How does a late library book turn into $1,000 fine?
I am telling you, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me.
Tell us 5.
I babysat for my friend's daughter. She was 5 years old and they lived right across the street from the library. I took out some books for her. She didn't get to read them all, so I sent her home with the books and told her mom to make sure she returned them. I did receive a fine and a summons for court. The fine was only $60, so I kind of put it in my, okay, I'll just send a check out for that, no big deal, and forgot about it. I then was pulled over at the end of my shift on a Tuesday night, leaving Shepherd's, and the officer told me I had a warrant out for stolen government property. I could not believe it. He took me to the police station and I paid the $1,000 cash fine and I was released. And I still tell the story to this day.
Was that this year? Was that the one?
Yeah, that was recently.
June?
Yeah, very recently.
Do you still have the books?
I have no idea what happened to the books. She's probably moved about 4 times since then.
Mr. Chair?
Alderman Weigel.
You have a charge felony forgery and financial transaction card violation in Muskego?
I don't believe that ended up being a felony. I believe it started out as felony. I had moved to Boston for about 8 months after leaving an employer. My boss was selling his house, $3 million mansion in Florida, and was away. I asked a manager if I could print myself a check for the hours I would work over the weekend. When I had finished working the hours, he told me how to do it so that I would have to pay taxes but not use a payroll check, because that would, mess up they only get 52 weeks of payroll checks. So if I printed myself one, then they would, at the end of the year, there wouldn't be any for anybody else. So he explained to me how to do it. I then printed the check and cashed it that weekend after my hours of working, and then I didn't work at that place anymore, and I moved to Boston, and upon coming back from Boston, they told me they were after me for all this crazy stuff, and I got a lawyer, and the lawyer said to plead guilty to a lesser charge so that it didn't go to a jury trial, which in my opinion, I probably at this point in my life would have said I would like to go to a jury trial, but he advised me against that, and they pleaded it down to not felony, but it was for my word against the managers who told me that I could do it. He showed me how to do it, and then when the owner came back, he did not approve after looking over the books and said, what is this check and how did this come about? I was in Boston at the time, and when I came back many months later, it just turned into like a 2 or 3 year court trial, and I just listened to my lawyer and pleaded down to a lesser theft charge.
I mean, so you're saying you didn't, all you did was
I printed the
use
check.
some non-typical way to make sure you got the money that was owed to you
Right,
for work you
right.
did. And you were
they-
found guilty of a crime.
Of theft, yeah. And I mean, I was only 18 at the time, and I really had no idea how the court system worked, and I hired a not very smart lawyer, and to this day I'm kicking myself for hiring him. And yeah, I mean, he actually he sent me a bill after the whole thing for like an extra $2,000 or something, and I told him to pound sand because I couldn't believe how the whole thing had unfolded. And
Did you put on your application you're going to work at the Muskego Open Pantry?
I did. No, I did years ago. When I was 18, I worked there, and I had to have a bartending or a liquor license of some
So
sort
you
to
just
sell.
you put that on the wrong line. On the application.
Probably. Sorry about that. I mean, my late fiance, the father of my daughter, was killed by a drunk driver 4 years ago in March. I don't condone drinking and driving. I would like for people, especially in West Dallas, to be able to have a good time, but also be safe. and my goal is to make sure that that happens. I choose of my own volition to not drink behind the bar, and when I do drink on my own time, I make sure that there's a designated driver or some, cab, bus, something to get us all home safely.
Well, Lenny's really for the past few years since we shut him down for a while has not been a problem place. I don't want it turning into a problem place.
I was under the understanding that it was at one point, and we want to definitely stay away from that.
And it's
Lenny's.
We haven't seen him since we shut him down.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still
And so
at the open pantry.
well, but currently it's still under him, so it hasn't been sold
Right,
yet. So
no,
it's,
that's still in the works.
so-
They have not come to an agreement on the contract yet.
So right now you're just looking for a license. You really could work anywhere. So.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Barczak.
2012, retail theft, party to a crime. What was that?
I was at a Kohl's. I had enough money in my purse to pay for some jewelry that, for whatever reason, in my just state of I don't know what, I put the stuff in my purse. I guess I thought I could get away with it. It was ridiculous. That was right after my daughter's father had passed away. I could plead temporary insanity. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever done. I was never been so embarrassed in my life. I absolutely deserved to, everything I got for that. That was a terrible mistake.
So as we go through 2002, your possession of marijuana, 2003, possession of marijuana, 2004, operating while revoked, 2005, the felony of forgery, 2005, disorderly conduct, Muskego, 2012, retail theft. Now, 2014, you're paying for the library book that was way back, so we can eliminate that. 2010, OWI. Again, as I said before, we're held responsible, and there's just too much history here. Not old enough. To me, 2012 is only 2 years ago. 2010 is only 4 years ago. The rest of the stuff can go back to 10 years, but there's stuff still that, in my eyes, you still haven't gotten the hint yet that you need to follow the law. You need to make decisions that are proper, and this is just not showing me that. And unfortunately, I don't see where that's going to spill over to being a bartender and making the decisions that we need to be made. I'm not going to be able to support this. I don't know what the other people of the committee are going to do, but when I look at this, and I'm held responsible for when I make the decision here, and there's just too much here for me to.
The only thing I can say is that, I'm sorry for the mistakes that I made, and that I'm definitely not that person anymore.
Wasn't that long ago? So.
I agree that after Michael passed away and I was pregnant, I found out I was pregnant, and then he passed away a week later. It was a very rough pregnancy, a hard time in my life. I apologize for being emotional, but.
Well, do I have any kind of motion here?
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Okay, approval. Second by Weigel. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion?
And my discussion is that she's got one OWI 4 years ago, and the drugs are all at least 10 years ago.
Correct.
And it's marijuana, so that would be my logic on it.
I did not learn my lesson for drinking and driving. Oh, sorry.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Yeah, and I'll add on also, the arrest on the warrant, which is the most recent thing in June of 2014. That was an outstanding warrant from a long time ago. That wasn't a new crime. That's significant in my eyes.
Yep, and I made that clear.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
And,
Okay.
And this is the part of the speech I forgot earlier.
Okay.
Our actions go back to the full council tonight. Our recommendation from this committee goes to the full council tonight. You may want to stick around. Because it might be discussed on the floor, and other council members may have a question for you.
Okay.
As it coming out as a split decision
go
like
back
this,
into the
it's likely to be
council
talked
chambers
in the
after
council
this.
chambers on the floor.
Okay.
So don't leave it. Right now, it's come out 3-2 in your favor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. No, this is, Abigail.
Sindelar.
Yeah, she's not gonna be here
Right.
again?
Right.
Again?
She just needs to know I think there was one time where Alderperson Haas wasn't available, and she needs advance notice with her employer, and she asked, if one of those dates would be better.
Well, Alderman Haas has asked him to come here because of the, where she refused or she obstructed the officer.
Well, it's about I think it's about the weapon, being told there was a weapon in the bar, and then her uncooperative.
She's uncooperative and hostile.
Hostile. So
Yeah, and, well, here, disrespect, I used the word hostile, that wasn't in the report. Sindelar did not call the police and was disrespectful and uncooperative with officers trying to investigate the incident. That's the big.
So what would you like to do here?
Yeah, I wish to revoke her license.
You want to make a motion for summons and complaint?
And I make a motion for a summons and complaint.
Second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? No, we don't read this out or anything. It just goes.
If you take action, it's directing the city attorney's office to prepare a summons and complaint.
Okay, because even though she's not here, if she was here, there wouldn't be any difference. She'll be able to appear for the summons and complaint when it comes up. So is there any further discussion?
Yeah, the summons, before we vote, just on the procedural matter, the summons and complaint, that brings her before this, for our committee again. Okay.
Right, she'll get the formal notice of the charges, she'll be served. Then if she fails to appear, you can take her failure to appear as a default and take whatever action you think is appropriate at that time. If she does appear, then she can answer the allegations at that point.
And then we go through the regular process of taking away a license.
Right, if she contests them, then you'd have a hearing and
Bring in a police officer.
Bring the officers, they testify, she'd be able to testify, bring in her witnesses, and then you make factual determinations and your decision then.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I believe that's all we have.
And no meeting next Tuesday.
Yeah, there's no meeting next Tuesday. Unless you guys really want to. Okay, there's two that we held.
Yeah, get that on
And
my
then the
calendar right now.
We don't read out.
Right, we'll take them.
And don't forget to read out.
Is that one of these you've been going?